Home Studio Start podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome. You're listening to the Home Studio Start podcast. It can feel a bit like dark magic in music production at first.
Definitely.
But once you get it, oh man, it totally changes your sound.
Mhm.
We're talking about audio compression and mixing.
Yeah.
It really is like the secret sauce that makes tracks sound finished, professional, just right.
Absolutely. And for this dive, we're leaning on a great piece. Master Compression, elevate your mix with pro techniques.
Ah, right.
It's by Rodrigo Marquez. He's the founder of Home Studio Start, the home recording made easy guy.
Yeah, I know his stuff. Really
Yeah.
practical.
Exactly. His work really helps folks level up their audio game.
So our mission today, let's demystify this thing. We want to help you take your sound from, maybe okay to genuinely wow.
Mm-hmm.
Give you some real practical insights. Think of compression like a sculptor for your sound, maybe.
That's a good way to put it.
It adds punch to drums, smooths out vocals, and it can kind of glue the whole mix together. It's not just fixing problems, it's creative. Okay, so let's dig in. When we talk about compression, fundamentally, what problem is it actually solving? Like, what's it doing?
That's the perfect starting point. So, at its core, a compressor manages the dynamic range.
Dynamic range, the louds and softs.
Exactly. Imagine you've got a track where some bits are super loud, others really quiet. A compressor evens that out.
Wow.
Well, it turns down the loudest parts. And because those peaks are controlled, you can then bring up the overall level.
So the quiet parts become more audible.
Precisely. The whole track feels more consistent, more present.
Okay, that makes sense. Consistency is key. So the first control you usually see is
Threshold.
threshold, right? How does that work?
Yeah, threshold, it's basically the volume level the signal has to cross before the compressor even starts doing anything.
So like a gatekeeper.
Kind of, yeah. Let's say your vocal track peaks around negative 3 dB sometimes, just jumps out. If you set your threshold at, say, negative 5 dB, the compressor will only act on those louder parts, the bits above negative 5 dB.
And everything below just passes through untouched.
Exactly. It leaves the quieter, natural parts alone unless they get too loud.
Got it. So once it crosses that threshold, how do we control how much it gets turned down, that intensity?
Right, that's where the ratio comes in.
Hmm.
This tells the compressor how much to reduce the volume. So a common ratio is 4.1. That means for every 4 decibels, the signal goes over the threshold. The output level only goes up by 1 decibel.
Wow, okay. So it's really holding it back.
Yeah, it's a significant reduction, and you can change this, of course. A high ratio, like 10.1 or even higher, acts more like a limiter, really squashes those peaks.
Right.
But a lower ratio, maybe 2.1, is much gentler,
Yeah.
just subtly evens things out. It's all about dialing it in for the specific sound.
That makes sense. Finding the balance. Okay, then there's attack and release. These always felt a bit tricky to me.
Yeah, attack and release, super important for the character of the compression.
How so?
Okay, attack time is how quickly the compressor reacts once the signal hits that threshold.
Right.
A really fast attack clamps down almost instantly. Great for taming sharp, sudden sounds, those transients.
Like the snap of a snare drum?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or a really aggressive pick attack on a guitar.
Yeah.
But sometimes you want that initial punch to come through.
So you use a slower attack then.
Precisely. Let that initial hit breathe a little before the compression kicks in. Then you have release time.
Okay, what's that do?
That determines how quickly the compressor stops working or releases once the signal drops below the threshold again. A fast release lets the volume bounce back quickly, can make things sound more lively, maybe more energetic.
And a slow release?
That smooths things out more. The gain reduction recovers slowly, giving a more sustained, less grabby sound. Often sounds more natural on things like vocals or bass.
So like for that snare example, fast attack to catch the peak, but maybe quick release so it doesn't kill the drum's body.
You got it. Fast attack, quick release can really add punch and make it cut through while keeping the rhythm driving. It's all interactive.
Okay, I'm following. But after all this turning down, doesn't the track just get quieter overall?
Yes, it often does. That's a key point. Which leads us to makeup gain.
The volume knob at the end.
Pretty much. Since compression is reducing the peaks, the average level, the perceived loudness, can drop. Makeup gain just lets you boost the whole compressed signal back up.
So it sits right in the mix again.
Exactly. You bring it back up so it has the right presence, the right impact. Without it, your nicely compressed track might just get lost.
Makes sense.
So mastering these parameters, threshold, ratio, attack, release, makeup gain, that's how you really start shaping sound. Enhancing clarity, adding punch, but keeping the emotion.
And listening is key, right? No magic numbers.
Oh, absolutely. Critical listening. Every track is different.
Okay, so we've got the basics down.
Okay.
But you mentioned character. It feels like different compressors sound different, even with the same settings.
You are absolutely right. Here's where it gets really interesting. Not all compressors are created equal. Each type has its own sort of flavor, its own sonic signature.
Flavors of compression. I like that.
Yeah. Think of it like different tools. Let's talk about a few main types. First up, VCA compressors.
VCA, like the DBX 160.
Exactly like that. VCAs are known for being precise, clean, and often very fast. Think of them as like surgical tools.
Okay, so when would you use one?
They're great for controlling dynamics tightly without adding a ton of color. Perfect for, say, a bass guitar where maybe just a few notes are jumping out too much.
Mm-hmm.
A VCA can clamp down on just those notes really quickly and transparently, keeps the low end tight and consistent. You might start with a moderate ratio, maybe 4.1, just to keep things even.
Cool. Precise control. What about something with more vibe for vocals?
For vocals, you often reach for an optical compressor. The classic is the LA2A.
Heard of that one. Smooth, right?
Incredibly smooth and musical. They use a light-dependent resistor, which gives them generally slower, smoother attack and release times. It's less about grabbing peaks aggressively.
So what does it do for vocals?
It adds this warmth, this lovely character. It gently levels the performance, kind of rides the volume in a really natural way. It doesn't sound compressed, just better, fuller, like a gentle hug for the vocal.
A gentle hug. I love it. Okay, but what if I want the opposite? Like I want to slam some drums, get that aggressive rock sound. Optical wouldn't do that, right?
Probably not your first choice for slamming. For that aggressive, punchy character, you'd look at FET compressors.
SAT, like the 1176.
The legendary 1176, exactly. FETs are famous for their super fast response time and their, shall we say, energetic sound. They can be really aggressive.
So drums.
Oh, yeah. Perfect for adding serious punch and excitement to drums. Kick, snare, you can make them really smack. There's even that famous all buttons in trick on the 1176.
A nuke mode.
Yeah, basically. It creates this explosive, super compressed sound. But even with more normal settings, FETs just add this fantastic energy and bite. Really makes drums cut through.
Powerful stuff. Okay, one more type often mentioned is tube compressors, like the Fairchild. Vintage vibe.
Exactly. Think warm, rich, vintage character. Tube compressors, like the Fairchild 670, are often less about pinpoint dynamic control and more about the tone they impart.
Tone, like distortion.
Subtle saturation, yeah. Harmonic richness from the tubes. They often have a slower, smoother response, too. Ideal for adding that final polish, that glue, to a whole mix on the mix bus or in mastering.
Glue. I hear that term a lot with compression.
Yeah, tube compressors are great at making everything sound cohesive, bigger, warmer. Each type really brings something unique to the table. Experimenting is key.
Totally. Okay, so it's not just about controlling volume, it's about sound design, adding character. Which brings us to creative uses.
Right, because compression isn't just a utility, it's absolutely an artistic tool.
So what are some ways we can get creative with it, beyond just dialing in basic settings?
Well, one of the biggest creative techniques is parallel compression, also known as New York compression.
Yes. Heard of this. It sounds complicated.
It's actually pretty straightforward once you get the concept. You basically blend a heavily compressed version of a track with the original uncompressed track. Because you get the best of both worlds. You get the power, the sustain, the density from the heavily compressed signal. But you blend in the original track to keep all the natural dynamics, the punch, the transients that get lost in heavy compression.
So you're adding the weight without squashing the life out of it.
Exactly. Think of it like adding really strong spices to a dish, but just a little bit. You enhance the overall flavor without overwhelming the main ingredients.
That's a great analogy. Okay, walk me through it. Drums seem like the classic example for parallel compression.
For sure. It's fantastic on drums. So, first step.
Yeah?
Duplicate your main drum bus track. Create a copy.
Okay. Got 2 drum tracks now.
Right. On that copy, you insert a compressor and you hit it hard. Really hard.
Like high ratio.
Yeah. High ratio, 8.1, 10.1, maybe even higher. Fast attack, pretty fast release usually. You want to absolutely crush it. Make it sound kind of pumpy and maybe even a bit distorted on its own.
Okay. Sounds gross on its own, maybe.
It probably will. But then here's the magic. You take the fader for that crush track way down and you slowly blend it back in underneath your main uncompressed drum track.
Sneak it in.
Exactly. Just bring it up until you start to feel the drums get bigger, fuller, more powerful, more sustained. but the original punch is still there from the main track.
Wow. Okay, I can hear how that would work. Adds density.
It really does. Brings out the room sound, the low-level details. Game changer.
And he keeps forgetting it, right?
Definitely experiment with the compressor settings on the Crush track. Different attack release times change how it feels when blended. And don't just stop at drums. Try it on vocals for more body and presence, on bass to add weight, sometimes even subtly on the whole mix bus to add excitement. Just blend to taste.
Cool. So parallel compression is one big creative use. What else? Any other tricks?
Oh, yeah. Another really popular one, especially in electronic music, is using sidechain compression for that pumping effect.
The EDM pump.
Yeah.
How's that done?
It's clever. You put a compressor on one track, say a bass line or a synth pad,
Okay.
but you set the compressor to be triggered by a different track, usually the kick drum.
So the kick drum tells the bass compressor when to work.
Exactly. Every time the kick hits, it triggers the compressor on the bass, making the bass volume duck down for a moment.
Creating that rhythmic pulse.
You got it. It creates space for the kick and adds this really cool rhythmic movement. You just set the kick as the sidechain input on the bass compressor and tweak the attack and release for the right groove.
Very cool effect. What about vocals again? Any other creative tricks besides the optical hug?
Well, sometimes using just subtle compression can be creative in itself. You don't always have to slam things.
How so?
Using gentle compression, maybe with a slightly slower attack, it can actually emphasize the start of words, the little transient details in a vocal, adds clarity and presence without sounding obviously compressed.
So letting the very start pop through a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. The source we mentioned, Rodrigo's article, suggests trying tube or optical compressors for this, like that LA2A style for a sort of silky finish. It brings out the nuance, sustains the emotions subtly.
Nice. Not always about heavy-handedness.
Definitely not. Sometimes less is more, even creatively.
Man, this has been such a great deep dive. Compression really is so much more than just turning things down. It's vital for a pro mix.
It really is that hidden hero, isn't it, once you understand it?
Totally.
So just to wrap up, maybe 3 key things to take away from all this.
Yeah, let's do a quick recap.
Okay, first, really get a grip on those fundamental parameters. Threshold, ratio, attack, release, makeup gain. Knowing what each one does is crucial.
Right. Can't use the tool if you don't know how it works.
Exactly. Second, always consider the context. What works on a punchy snare is totally different from what you need on a smooth vocal.
Yeah, no one-size-fits-all preset.
Never. Successful mixes use different settings tailored to each instrument's role. That differentiation is key.
Good point. And third,
Make the most of parallel compression. Seriously, learn that technique. It's fantastic for adding power and presence, bringing things like the kick forward without making the mix muddy or losing impact.
awesome takeaways. Understanding, context, and parallel processing.
That's a good summary.
And huge thanks again to the source material, Master Compression, by Rodrigo Marques. You mentioned he's the founder of Home Studio Start.
Yeah, a real veteran, over 25 years in the game, producing artists, mastering. He's all about, making pro-level production accessible, helping artists build skills and sustainable careers. It's great stuff.
Love that mission. Okay, so for everyone listening, now it's your turn.
Yeah.
Take these ideas, jump back into your DAW, pull up a mix, start experimenting. Ask yourself, how can compression help this track, this vocal, this drum bus?
This A/B test. Always compare with the compression bypassed.
Crucial. Listen carefully. Train your ears. What sounds good is good, but understanding why helps you repeat it.
Absolutely. Which kind of leads to a final thought to chew on.
Yo, go for it.
As you keep going on your music journey, think about this. What other hidden heroes are sitting there in your toolkit, maybe like compression was, just waiting for you to fully understand them and unlock some truly transformative results?